Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Big Ideas Podcast, the podcast where three co-hosts. Should we start over?
Gotcha.
Or should we just roll with it? Hey, listeners, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Ideas Podcast, the podcast where three co-hosts rotate roles to explore real conversations, meaningful ideas, and the decisions that shape our lives. I'm Justin Gabassi, a coach, author, touring musician, and lifelong student of human potential. I travel the world exploring health, culture, and human connection, then share those ideas and experiences with all of you to help you create a healthier, freer, and more meaningful life. Who else is with me today?
Well,
I think next up we have...
I'm Jessica Broadway, wife, mother, coach, author, speaker, and man, I am so excited to be here with you guys and to talk about our big ideas. Because life is now in session. There's a lot to learn if we're willing to be open to it.
Amen.
Hey, that's great. I'm Mark. I'm a partner and mate and father and CEO and founder and creative and podcast host, and also equally thrilled to be here today in this moment with you two doing this podcast. Big Ideas Rocks.
Yeah, so where's everybody at? Jessica, you've got some cool looking scenery behind you today. What is up?
I get to be the cool cat this week with a new scenery. Super blessed. My mom, I got remarried last year, and some friends of her husband gifted us a week as a family here in the summertime at their lake house down in Shell Knob. So we are very grateful for the Raymer family that donated us a week to spend as a family. My brother, my sister, we had 15 kids in the house, and jet skis, canoes, all the things. And so my POV is at the lake today, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And we've had a lovely time just kind of enjoying bonding as a family and playing together all week. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. To me, it sounded like you said,
I heard
I
the
got
same
remarried.
thing. I got remarried. Yeah, that was
Just to clarify for the audience, Jessica didn't
remarried.
get remarried.
I did not get
Josh.
remarried. My
Very
mom got remarried last September.
got it.
Yes. And her
And you've been
new
married
husband- I've been married
Okay.
23 years. Yep.
Yeah.
So yes, Josh, he asked me last night Wednesday he came down, and he asked me right before he had to leave, he was like, would you like to go for a sunset row on the boat? And he took the rowboat out. I know. And he rowed me, he rowed me, that sounds weird. He rowed the boat with me in it all the way around the cove.
Now I know why you guys have been married for so long.
Is it hot in here? Is it hot in here?
Hey, folks, if you want to know how to be happily married for a long time, you take sunset. Anyway, go ahead, Jessica.
Yeah.
He rowed the boat with me in it around the cove.
Words matter, Jessica.
Wow.
Listen,
Words matter.
and it was beautiful, and we got back, and my son immediately was like, can I take Olivia out? His girlfriend was with us as well. And so then he took her out, and it was just so sweet. It was like one of those moments that, they're watching all the time. So it was really, really sweet. And after 23 years, just the thing that meant the most was that he just asked, like sometimes you get comfortable and you just assume everyone's good and you don't take the extra initiative, and just him to say, hey, would you like to go for a row in the boat? I was like, yes, of course I would. So it was really special.
Man, what a stud! Like, and look at what the example he gave your boys. Like, he's like, hey, this is a good trick that Dad just did. That's great.
We're next. It was super sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And whenever
awesome. Mark, where you at, bro?
Did you finish that thought?
Nope, go for it. I'm done.
All
I'm
right.
done. I'm zipping the lips.
All right. I'm in Springfield, Mo, in my office, and it's been a great week. And I'm ready for the weekend too. I'm enjoying both. It used to be that I just loved working so much that,
Mm.
can I stretch this out? Can I do a little work on Saturday? Could do a little on Sunday or a lot. And it's been a great week. I've started biking this week. I bike to and from my office, 6 miles each way, about half an hour per ride, and it's changed my life. So this is Mark Steiner, new perspective, new POV for me. I am getting healthier and have a new lease on life. I feel like an 8-year-old again on my bike.
Since you're getting like healthier, could we do an episode called podcast and pull-ups? And we have like a pull-up competition or something?
She's feeling herself. This girl.
This is a great idea.
Yeah.
This is a great idea. Yeah.
You get to ask however many questions you can do in pull-ups.
This is some good foreshadowing. Mark, I'm a little jealous only because you already have amazing legs as a man, and I know they're just going to get even better now. I'm not even hitting on you, bro. I'm into women, but I'm telling you, you have great legs. As a guy that works out, as another gym bro, I'm telling you, man, I can only imagine they're going to get even better now. I guess I need to start riding a bike too.
You have like popping calves.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dude.
Yeah. Yes. And they've gotten bigger this week.
Gosh, shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Shut your mouth. All right.
I'm in Springfield as well, finally, guys. I've been all over the place, but I've been back here, what is this, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Ish. I don't know. Is it 3?
Oh, yeah. Been a long time.
Man, it's flying by already. So I'm back here, and I'm really pumped about, it kind of parlays right into today's episode, which is about firsts. Because I was kind of trying to explain the getting reacclimated to the U.S. and having a conversation with my mom, and she's like, you know what? You've had a lot of firsts this last year. New countries, new languages, new cultures, new food, new living arrangements constantly. And then I came back to the States and had a pretty big first. It wasn't technically a first with Jessica, but we had, we do this speaking thing with The Perfect Day, but this arguably it was a new city, it was a new audience, it felt like a first. I had like the pre-game jitters for sure, which I get a lot, even before big shows. And then just getting back to the States and buying a car and getting insurance again, and I don't know, it just feels like constant firsts. And we talked about it for a bit, and firsts can be super exciting, but they can also be strangely stressful, right? And I wanted to dissect that with you guys today and talk about, I don't know, the positive, exciting firsts, and the emotional stuff around that, and then the firsts that aren't so great, that can be losses and things like that. So I don't know, let's dive in. I want to get your guys' perspective on this topic of firsts.
Well, first thing that came to mind was the first birth of my first child. And the thrill of that, the thrill of bringing a human, being part of that creation, and then feeling like I am completely out of sorts here. I don't know what I'm doing. You just sort of dive in and do what you got to do, which I think is a lot of time, day in, day out, there's first for everything. As I just mentioned, I'm riding my bike, and every time I get on my bike, it's like the first time. It comes back to me. I know how to ride, but it's always exhilarating for me. I can't get on a bike without feeling like a kid, and it's like new firsts. It's a first time. I love firsts. I love it. I love discovering, finding new places when I travel and trying new foods and all the firsts. Yeah, I love them. And the sad part is that once you've done it the first time, you can never do it a first time again. Well, that doesn't make that. I just contradicted myself in some ways. Everything's new. Everything's a first. Everything's in a new environment, new situation, new. new things going on. So I try to keep that perspective of everything, just it's wonder. And so everything is a first time.
Okay.
So I heard you, like I was walking through that with you, like first birth of my son, like all the things that you like know are first, and then the things that you think are firsts, only to realize that probably not your first, but it's your first memory of it or first awareness of it. My son this morning, I was singing to my nephew, and I asked Macklin, I was like, what songs do you remember me singing to you that you would like me to sing to Declan? And he was like, well, you didn't sing to me when I was a baby, so I don't know. I was like, that's really interesting that you would say that.
Wow.
So, like he thinks he's never been sung to, or that he doesn't remember. So they're like first that were part of your life before you really kind of realized it, and those shape who you are even without realizing it. And then sorry, I got distracted with our notification on the computer screen. Sorry.
No problem. My camera, my Osmo went out, I think. Can you guys still see me?
We can.
Cool. All right, cool.
It's continuing on a new track, everyone.
Nice.
This is inside baseball stuff going on right now.
That's right.
Yes. So I think there's like first that we are not even aware we have. There's something to be said for that we had anyway and shaped us. Things that you just breezed over. There's a thing about like you never know when the last time you're going to pick your kid up is. It's like there's parts of life that just evolve and you don't recognize them as first or last. You're just living life. I think in this season for me, what really is poignant is that, started off the show with Josh and I've been married 23 years. So coming up with like new things or firsts to do together, I'm assuming only gets harder the longer you've been married, right? And so it is having a new perspective, and technically we get newness every single day. One thing I tell my kids a lot is, I didn't get a preview on how today was going to go. I'm having it for the first time too. Like literally, I did not get to rehearse today to figure out how I was going to fight all the battles or not, or enjoy. I didn't get a preview. This is as new a surprise to me as it is to you. I think sometimes we forget that everyone is living the day for the first time too. Like we think because we lived yesterday that we're somewhat experienced and that we got this in the bag. But the truth is that you may have been there yesterday, but you've never been here in this moment. And when you shift your brain to see that, there's like an energy and a tenacity for a hunger for life and for being present and soaking it all up. Has been a richness for me in my life of just being like, but I've never been here today. I've never done this today. I've never done it in this second, in this moment, that kind of thing. I've been to the lake a lot, but I've never been here at this spot with you people in this moment. So I love to look at it like that and focus on that side of it. Is that kind of what you were wanting, or you want something else?
Yeah, no, I wanted to kind of lay a foundation and get both of your opinions about it. And while you're both speaking, I thought another aspect of this is really one thing we're talking about. I guess the underlying theme of first is also change. And I was just analyzing myself like, okay, I know that I want new experiences. I know that I want firsts. And I know that some of the firsts are going to be things I don't want, right? Like this car I purchased when I got back to the US. It's a great car, but it needed already like quite a bit of work, just unexpected, right? So I don't know if that's really a first, but this particular car is kind of a new car to me. And then it's got, so there's how do we navigate, the question is, how do we navigate the emotional excitement? So when you have an exciting new first, there's nerves, right? And there's excitement and there's anticipation, and that's all really cool, right? It's kind of good stuff, but it's still scary. I think it can still be scary. Then you have the first, like some kind of a first loss of someone. And those are like, oh man, this is the first time I've been here, and this is really, really rough. So I was kind of hoping we could guide the audience into like, what tools and practices and things do you guys do to prep for the exciting stuff, and then also for the things that are going to be inevitable?
I can.
Sorry, I took a drink at the wrong time.
You okay?
Yeah,
Heimlich?
I took a drink at the
Gosh.
wrong time. Didn't ready for the question. Go ahead.
Common trait, symptom of ADHD is rumination. And rumination, I've been able to hack my way through rumination for the most part, because the first thing that happens for me is the moment I start to go down the trail, my mind has this tendency of going to the worst case scenario, which leads to fear. And I have figured out through some great philosophy and my faith that worrying about things is pointless, and that's divine. That's a command that I'm not supposed to, and it's pointed out that the birds don't worry about food, and then it goes on. There's another great quote. Ram Dass said, "Be here now." And by being present, being in the moment, being mindful, it's really difficult to then just to go to a dark place and to remain in fear. If you're right here and now, if I have the ability to think and be and I am present, then any new things from any first things are kind of irrelevant, because depending on whatever the experience is in this moment, I'm probably better than I think I am. And that's another thing. Things are never as bad or never as good as they seem to be. And so if you just take the time to collect yourself and say, okay, right now, how are things? What's going on in this moment? For me personally, it's a lot easier to navigate rather than thinking about the past or fear of the future.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
So, can I take us down a little zigzaggy thing here? Something I wanted to say when you said that, Mark, was the be here now. When I do workshops with people and we talk about the past and the future, I kind of draw this little diagram for them, and they've done some research, and it's like 90, I want to say, let's say 90% of your thoughts about the past are regret. Only about 10% are actually fond memories. And then the about 90% of the thoughts about the future are fear-based, like what's going to happen. Only about 10% of them are actually planning and dreaming and hoping for the future. So the only thing we actually get to experience at 100% is this moment. Like, it's this moment that we get to have total accuracy and like anchoring in. Does that make sense? This is the only moment that's not tainted by fear of regret or fear of the future. It's just right now, because those things, the past isn't happening and the future isn't happening. It's the present moment that's happening, and that's where we get our peace. Now, that said, our brains are wired for comfort, not for new stuff. They're wired for comfort, and they want pattern recognition. It wants safety, so it will choose the pain it knows just in order to obtain safety, instead of letting go of the pain so it can be in the present, because that feels uncomfortable and it's unknown. Isn't that weird? And so actually having a discussion with my sister today about awareness and how awareness alone isn't enough. Awareness has to be paired with a frame in which to recognize the information and then tools to process what you notice and what you're curious about, because curiosity freaks the brain out unless it has a framework to apply it through. And so you can't just say like, oh, I want to create this awareness for you, because people are noticing things all the time and then talking themselves into not doing the thing because they don't feel equipped or tools or the right framing in which to process what they're learning. And so I think that's just like an interesting part of all of this is, I think we went way away from first, but recognizing, maybe if we're tying it back together, the recognition is that the alarms sound when firsts are happening sometimes, maybe like regret, or let's just take a kid having a baby and watching that kid grow, and the first steps that comes with like, oh, my baby's growing up, like there's also this, just every first brings the awareness that there will be a last as well. And that sometimes can yank us out of being present and soaking in the moment. It can, as parents, it can make us like want to capture it and like press down on it and contain it and hold on to it as long as we can, and as life people in our lives is, I got my first paycheck. Oh, I don't want to spend it. Like it's all that fear of loss, or the fear of it becoming a last, a first becoming a last, sometimes can really stall us out.
I think we're really on point. I know you said it seemed like we took a sidebar, but
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think we're really on point, because like so one thing a lot of people told me when I was selling everything to go travel is like, man, I wish I could do that. Like, you're living the dream. But they didn't think about, and nor did I fully equipped to the challenges that I would run into and I would face there. So I find it really interesting to ponder and plan for, okay, let's say I have, because people also can get complacent, because like everything you said, Jessica, like the safety is really comfortable, but then the safety and the comfort can get miserable and boring, and like can cause depression and all kinds of stuff, right? So I think it's good to bring tools to the table of, if you want to do something fun and exciting and something outside of your comfort zone, how do you do that, right? And if you have a first that just sideswiped you, took you out, somebody passed, or you lost your job, or any number of things, what I'm hearing you guys say is, first we have to establish a baseline, and that is, it sounds like the present moment, and that theme is throughout so many ancient texts and religions. So I'd like to get your feedback, both of you, on Mark. First up, if you have a big, maybe you could take us back to the first time you were a podcast guest, or any kind of first where you were maybe a little nervous. And so for you, it sounds like you get into that present moment. You try not to ruminate on the past or the future. But if you were going to coach me up on, hey man, I know you've got a big first coming up. What is Mark Steiner's tool set?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's not easy, but when you're anticipating something new, when you're leading into something new, I think for me, the first step is to try to ground myself and just get open to whatever the experience is about to be, and try not to anticipate anything good, bad, and different, but just to be present. So, and I'm glad you made the point, Justin, like being here now, those elements together at once, this is a new moment. This is a new moment. This is a new moment. It's constant. It does not stop. And so the bigger events, I try to enter into those with some big deep breaths, some meditation, some contemplation, some prayer, and then a whole lot of faith of this is going to be interesting and good. and a good experience. I'm going to learn from whatever comes next. And that curiosity is what keeps pushing, thrusting me into actually seeking out, you know, first experiences, like something, you know, the grand events of life. And it's that being here and now and giving my best, you know, giving it all that because our presence is the present.
Hmm.
It is when you give somebody that, or you give the moment that, the experience that, if you're alone out in nature experiencing the Grand Canyon for the first time, my goodness, give yourself the benefit, the gift, the present of being present in that moment, and take time, take it in, use all your senses. Too often we're just so accustomed to rushing through life so fast, we're missing the firsts.
Mm.
Slow
Yeah.
down. You're going too fast. You got to
Thank
make
you,
the.
man.
No, I won't do it. I'm not going to recite a whole song here. Go ahead.
Thanks, man. That's super helpful.
I hope so.
No, really, really. I kind of,
Thanks.
I've always wanted to know what your protocol is for getting yourself grounded and settled into the moment before you go on stage as an actor or get on a podcast or speak to your team and things like that, you know,
Yeah.
tricks that I'm, trying to learn. So, Jessica, what about you?
There's so much about what Mark said. Before I answer, I'm curious, Mark, when you say you meditate, is there a mantra that you kind of go through in your head? I think meditation has such a broad spectrum, like especially for people with ADHD, the idea of trying to quiet the mind, it's very challenging. So
Yeah.
is there something that you particularly meditate on? And then I'm going to parlay off of that, but I was just curious if you have something that you that you meditate on that brings you to a place of center.
Yes. The meditation practice and it's definitely been a practice and one I've gotten out of. Shameful. The 20 minutes twice a day. During those meditations, I try to, if I my mantra, or the way that I bring myself back to the presence and trying to just observe thoughts coming going, is aham, is it, and it is do you know this? And then really some version of uh, um, it's I am, aham, aham. Yeah, there's and that is really just I and being, and I am present, and it can say a lot in just a sound, in a word. And that would be, but the meditation I'm talking about is as some form of breath work, and a quiet, to the best of my ability, depending on how much time I have. But it's the quieting of my mind, and
Mm.
clearing it to the best I can, and letting thoughts come if they will, and then letting them go at the best that I can, and then getting to a place where I'm like, I'm available, I'm present, um, I'm being deliberate in my attention, and that would be it. Yeah, as I reflect on it, that would be just the best I can. Just, yeah, closing my eyes often. Um, breathing.
I thought of you when I was at the beach a few weeks ago, almost a month ago now. And I sat down on the water and I closed my eyes and I
Mm.
just allowed the waves to come in and crash on me and then go out. And I remember that you had said that you spend time sometimes meditating in public places just to allow yourself to acclimate and get comfortable to the uncomfortableness of what if somebody's watching me. And it's funny, I sat down there and I thought Mark would get such a kick out of this right now, is just being there. In fact, I got so relaxed and at peace. I didn't even feel Josh walk up next to me and he took this picture of me. I was still in my clothes. I came straight from the car and went down to the water and just sat there in my shorts and my t-shirt to just enjoy the moment of it. And I was so relaxed, I didn't even notice he took the picture. And later on he said, I took this picture of you. You looked really relaxed. And it's not the most flattering picture, but I did post it because I wanted to share the process of how that unfolding is, that I wasn't concerned with anyone else's peace but my own.
Yes.
Right. And so as we try to share things with people to process how life is unfolding for them, when we say meditation, it could mean a lot of different things. And I personally struggled for a while when I would hear people say that, because I can't, quieting of the mind is a challenge for me. And so it's actually the opposite for me. It is an honoring of my mind and the things that are unfolding for me at the time. And I typically, I mean, didn't there because I was in the water, but I typically keep a notebook and I write all the ideas that come to me. And I do that a lot. And that's how I wrote my first book. It's how I get a lot of ideas, is I just honor what comes in and I record it, because there's something that happens in the brain that when you get an idea, it's so focused on not losing the idea that it becomes like hyper vigilant. And so the meditative process for me is that the in and the out becomes so rhythmic that it is soothing and calming to me in a way that helps me focus on the present without fear of losing the present. Does that make sense? Like, the present moment is the thought that's coming to me, and I don't want to lose the present moment by worrying about this one idea that I feel like I have to record, And so I allow myself that rhythmic process, and it has become a sacred practice for me of honoring and being grateful for the ideas and holding space in my mind for things to come in and go out, and know that they're safely recorded in the book, right? And that is such a important part of my meditation for me, is that. And then the other part of that is that there's a lot of scriptures that come to mind when I am at peace. Those ones I like to put on like a repeat, whatever is lovely, whatever is good, think on these things, and so like just anything that pops in my head is like the opportunity we have to reclaim any moment for ourselves, like, is a beautiful thing when you understand it. Everything can be redeemed and reclaimed if you're willing to do the work, and I love that part about being present, is that it gives us that every moment is an opportunity to reclaim something that we feel like is out of our power, and to do that. We are gifted in that way, but a lot of times we just kind of let them come and go with fear. But yeah, that's kind of what I do, is I try to spend some time processing my thoughts through writing and quiet. So I don't know that my brain is ever quiet, but it is in a way that is quiet to me. It feels soothed. It feels honored. It doesn't feel like I'm struggling with which thought should get the priority. And for those reasons, I've kind of made up my own way of meditation that is like honoring my creativity, right? So like I took my phone out onto the paddleboard. Why would I do that? Because I wanted to take pictures, because I'm a storyteller and I like to capture moments, That's not the same thing, but that gets a lot of shame sometimes, is, well, you're in nature, you should be doing this, and why are you worried about a video, or why are you, and I'm like, but that's something I love to do. Why would you think that's stressful to me? I'm living my best life right now. You know what I mean? I'm enjoying it. It is something that brings me joy, is to do that, to take pictures, to take videos. It's not about anything else other than I love capturing moments. And I was sitting up here at the table working, and I've been working this whole week, and it occurred to me how much shame there is about people who work on vacation and vacation on work, right? Like it is so bad. Like it's so bad. Are you going to be working or are you going to be resting? Why do I have to be either or? Why can't we blend life and honor the moments where we focus on, I'm going to power work for this 15 minutes and I'm going to go paddleboard with my kids, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a few more things, and then I'm going to go paddleboard with my kids, and honoring that life is neither either or, but it's about being present and taking care of what needs to be taken care of in the present moment. Sometimes that's fun and sometimes it's work, but honoring each person's journey for themselves without trying to judge it because you're uncomfortable with it. I mean, some people would watch me and say you never meditate, but I have quite a bit of meditation in my beautiful way. I've allowed myself to adjust and to do what I need to do for my peace and not worry about pleasing other people.
It sounds like, yeah, man. It sounds like at the core of the way we're talking, not only, I mean, this is all really kind of around firsts, but it sounds like the preparation for the good, the bad, the otherwise is about, you guys just keep taking me back to the present moment and the tools in which to do that, which it sounds like is meditating for you, Mark, Jessica for you, and some capacity it's journaling and sorting your thoughts out in real time, also bringing you back to the present moment. For me, the way that I prepare for firsts, both anticipated and unexpected, goes back to all of my human optimization stuff. For me, it's like if my physiology is settled, if I'm not hungry or thirsty, I do whatever I can to sort of get my baseline really, really close to calm. And that really helps for me in my mind. And, so yeah, again, it's making sure I'm well hydrated. This is like if I'm dealing with, hard stuff too, man. It's like I don't need my physiology to be all spun out and stressed as well, because then I've got all those bells ringing too. Am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I tired? So I strategically, I guess my meditation is to go through those steps. It gives me something to focus on, and it kind of can put some of the doom and gloom at bay, or it can also put some of the stress of anticipation at bay. And it's like, all right, until I get to this moment where I really need to face this situation, whether it's I'm walking on stage or whether it's I'm walking into a funeral, it's like, man, I know this is rough, so I'm just going to be with it. And while I'm with the discomfort, the uneasiness of whatever's, coming, I just go through these basic steps. And again, it's my version of journaling, I guess. And then I've noticed myself, Mark, as well, doing a lot more awkward things in public. And, like the cool thing is now, it's okay to be weird in our society. And like most people's heads are down on their phone anyway. So if they see me doing like some post-meal movement, or like a lot of times at the gym, my eyes are closed so that I can actually be present in whatever exercise I'm doing. At the gas station, I'll do squats or whatever. And yeah, people look, and I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to be like, yeah, I saw this weirdo at the gas station doing squats. Then maybe they're like, oh, maybe that's not a bad idea, or this guy had his eyes closed at the gym. That's weird. Well, maybe I should try that. And I think it is cool. Like it's cool that we are, I think, as a race, becoming more accepting of it's okay to be a little bit weird. And there is some curiosity there. Even if there's judgment, there's curiosity, like, well, look at that weirdo, but then, I don't know, that's interesting. I wonder how, maybe they go in the privacy of their home and do it. So this is good, guys. Thank you. I mean, it sounds like we're trying to we all have a way of bringing ourselves the best we can back into the present moment.
Justin.
Go ahead, Jessica.
No, I have a question for you. And I suppose the question could be asked of all of us, and we don't necessarily have time, but since I thought about it for you, you'll get to answer it. What happens when, you can't control the physiological? What do you do to center yourself when you can't control those things? And what is it that you can, what do you lean on when everything else is not going like you wanted it to go? When you can't get the food you wanted, when you can't get the supplements you want, when you can't source the good water and you have to drink the crappy water, like what happens when that happens? How do you reconcile the physical discomfort and the emotional discomfort? What do you do then? Because a lot of people don't have that luxury of controlling their optimization. Maybe they know or they don't know. And if they know and they can't do anything about it because of illness or things like that, they may be saying, it must be nice to be able to control how your body feels. Well, I can't. What do you do? That is a thing for a lot of people. They cannot, the physiological stuff, as we talk in The Perfect Day, if you don't feel better, you're not going to think better. If you don't think better, you're not going to live better. I understand that trifecta is idealistic. But what are the tools when someone isn't in control of their physiology?
That's a really great question, because for the better part of 8 months, I was that person that had no control. And so the first thing that I do, it goes back to, it sounds really maybe simple, but I try to just breathe. And I was having a conversation with some friends the other night, and I've started just breathing more, like in the middle of a conversation, I'll take a deep breath. And they're like, are you okay, dude?
You've done that to me before, yeah. I took a deep breath and you're like, what's wrong? I'm like,
yeah,
just breathing deeply.
So like when we start to fall into that fight or flight, either from emotional or physiological stress, we start to shallow breathe. And so the first thing I do is just, okay, I'm going to take some breaths and then try to actually pay attention to the air coming in and going out, which gives my mind, it anchors my mind to something to do. And this is like old, wisdom from, it's talked about a lot. But so I start there, but that often doesn't work, right? So I have to give myself a task. And so then I choose whatever is in my control. And let's say I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I need water or food. I just assign myself, okay, what's the next basic thing we need to deal with? And then I go about the business of trying to focus on that one task. And while I'm focusing on that one task, it's a real slippery slope. It's a razor's edge where I can be really ruminating on negative things. And oftentimes I am, because I'm not feeling perfect and things are out of my control. And the paying attention to my breath is not working because I'm ticked off or whatever the case might be. And so I kind of in a tug of war with myself between the things that are frustrating me and that rumination, and then gratitude. And so I'm mad and frustrated and maybe physiologically completely off. But then while I'm in the ring with that stuff, I'm also in the ring with, okay, and this is hard for me anyway, it's hard to be like, hey man, but you're healthy and you're walking around, and like just basic stuff for gratitude. And it's really funny for me anyway, I can't speak for everyone, how I still want to pout about it. Yeah, I know, but this isn't going well. I mean, look at this. I'm carrying my backpack and it's 100 degrees outside. And yeah, dude, but you have legs to carry your backpack. Yeah, I know, but it's this real funny internal dialogue. So the answer for me again is just getting in the ring with the negative thoughts and the gratitude, and then just trying to focus on one task and then trying to breathe through it. So
I know we're wrapping up here, but I really am glad that you answered that, and it brought to mind the temptation for things to be either or. We're either happy or we're sad. We're either positive or we're negative. And that fracturing of our internal sense of being whole and complete makes us have to feel like we have to choose one or the other. And neither one of those feels like truth, because the reality is that this does suck right now. I am angry and I am grateful. So like making it okay to be disappointed and not feel like that is you being ungrateful. I'm saying you because you said that, but like just generally I have to tell myself that it's all right for you to be disappointed that things didn't work out different. And it's okay to be grateful at the same time. Stop stressing yourself out or forcing yourself to be a certain way in this moment. I'll spend way more of my bandwidth trying to focus on how I should be rather than just honoring what I am actually experiencing right now, So I love that. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for the question. It's a great question. Yeah, like you said, we're wrapping up. So I just have, in a few lines, I'm going to paint a scenario, and I want you each to just give a takeaway, a tip. So here we go. Ready? Someone is getting ready to walk into a first. They're getting ready to walk into a speech or a performance or or it's their wedding day, or they've lost the best friend or a relative. It's a first. It's good, bad, or otherwise. They're walking into a first. And I come to you, Mark, and I say, man, this is what's up. I got a big first coming up. I've just got a few seconds. What can you tell me to do? What would you tell me to do, bro, in a few sentences?
I've been leaning into the 12-step program recently. I've been daily devotional with my Overeaters Anonymous books, and there's so many answers to life in following those 12 steps, and one of the main the key element is it's one step at a time, and it's one day at a time. I don't have to worry about the step after the next step. I don't have to even consider what the end of the journey is going to look like. It's just take the step. You can be afraid and do it anyway. You can, be curious, and don't allow the emotions to impede you in any way, shape, or form. To the best of your ability. I mean, and so that's how I'm trying to do it. One step at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time, and let it be. And
thank you, man.
that's it.
Cool. Jessica, somebody's getting ready to walk into their deal. It's the first. It's good, bad, or otherwise. They're freaking out. What do you tell them to do?
Either way, no matter what happens, you're going to learn something today. So practice noticing and wondering. Notice what's happening and wonder how it's going to teach you about what comes next.
Cool. And my tip would be to just practice the muscle of getting better at living in discomfort.
That's good.
Because that can be happiness or sadness or somewhere in the middle. But it can get a little easier, but not if you don't practice. It doesn't mean that it ever gets easy. I don't know that it ever gets easy, but if you practice, then at least you're building, you're putting in the reps, right? So, well, guys, thank you so much for taking this journey with me today. For the audience, thanks for listening to The Big Ideas, a podcast about people, perspective, and the ideas that shape who we're becoming. If this episode sparks something for you, stay curious. We'll see you next time.